B4B TV. Real people, real stories, real Bradford.
A very warm welcome to all our listeners around the world. We hope you're having a wonderful day so far. It's Thursday, the 9th of June, 2022. A very historical day here at the City of Culture in Bradford, as an amazing organization, Bradford for Better, launches a new product that is here to stay. And with me this evening, I'm joined by the Chair of Bradford for Better, Dr. Sohail Ahmed. It's nice to have you on. How are you today?
I'm great, Tony. Thank you very much. Great to see
Uh,
you.
Beautiful to see you. And I'm also joined today by Mr. Atif Hussain, who is an amazing actor, writer, filmmaker. He's been around the scene for so many years. And Atif, you're looking so relaxed. I can see so many, films at your background. It's amazing. How are you feeling today?
Evening, Tony. Thank you for inviting me on your show. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What you see behind me. There's many more. I am well, thank you, and it's a pleasure to be on this launch episode.
Tip of the iceberg and so much more to come your way in 2022. City of Culture, Bradford. I'm meeting him for the very first time. His name is Mr. Shahid Islam. Mr. Shahid Islam is a senior research fellow at the Bradford Institute of Health Research. You're welcome to the platform this evening. How are you feeling today, Mr. Islam?
I'm feeling fantastic, Tony. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to the show.
Fantastic. And it's amazing because there's so much to come with Bradford for Better in this year and many more years to come as we continue to celebrate the City of Culture, Bradford 2025, but also as we today launch the birth of a new product which is here to stay and which is here to promote the narrative of Bradfordians here in this amazing city. So, Dr. Sohail Ahmed, today is a new chapter in the life of very many Bradfordians. And could you tell our listeners around the world today the vision behind launching Bradford for Better TV?
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. So, Bradford for Better, many people know out there, has been around for about 2, 3 years nearly now. And this now platform, B4B TV, it seems like a natural progression. It's an evolution, the next stage, I suppose, of the work that we've been doing. And over the last sort of 12 months, 6 to 12 months, I'd say that B4B has expanded quite rapidly into different areas. With the help of people like yourself, Tony, we've expanded into sort of the arts, the cultural elements, and a lot more than what we started at the beginning. And part of that is developing more contact and relationships with different organizations and different people from different backgrounds. Now, quite commonly, because we have such a big platform across the district, many people ask us to share their work and share the projects that they might be doing. And obviously, this day and age, this is the medium that things happen in online, social media, and podcasts, video podcasts especially, seem to be the way to go these days. And we just, as a team, thought that this would be probably the best way to get to a huge audience and share some of the good things that are going on in Bradford. There's so many people out there doing so many different things, trying to make Bradford better in some way, in their own way. And I think as B4B, we have a good reach and network. And I think if we can put those people on this platform and share their ideas, share their work, and share their efforts across the district and promote their work, I think we go a long way in trying to support them and their work as well. So this is the idea, this is the vision behind it. So I hope, we can get there with the help of the people that we work with.
How significant do you feel the timing of this is as we have just won the City of Culture 2025?
It's absolutely crucial. I mean, we've been toying with the idea for the last 6 months, and we actually launched it as a type of podcast at the end of last year. But again, we were trying to get it right. We didn't want to do a product that was not going to do justice to what B4B stands for and what our members would expect of us. So we were still trying to get the right thing and the right ideas together in the platform and using the different sort of online platforms that are available. But now with the City of Culture, I think there's so much focus on Bradford nationally, internationally as well. And I think more than ever, there's a need to galvanize that attention and the activity that goes on in Bradford. And I don't think there is a platform. I mean, we have local newspapers, we have a local radio station, which is very successful, BCB Radio. We have sort of community radio stations for different communities, some Asian stations, sort of different languages, but nothing that's across the district that has a focus on trying to make Bradford better and trying to put a spotlight on the work that goes on in communities all across Bradford. So I think it really is a vacuum and a unique place that we find ourselves in. And I think we're just trying to rise to the occasion and try and become that sort of fill that gap really. And with the spotlight honors with the City of Culture, I think it's the best time to do it.
And I know this is going to be a beautiful process, which is going to unfold slowly and profoundly. So as we witness the launch of the birth of this new online station, and for the benefits of people listening in today, can you just tell us the website for the B4B initial portal?
Yeah. So the main website is bradfordforbetter.com. So everything will be still on there. There will be a video podcast like this one that we're doing now, but also the audio, the sort of standard podcasts on the different platforms that are available on Amazon and Spotify. So we'll be having the audio version as well as the video version, which will go on the YouTube channel for Bradford for Better. So we'll have all the links at the end of this video. Those that, we'd ask people to subscribe, like, and share. And the bigger the platform becomes, the more it will have an impact and allow people to make that change through this platform, we hope.
Now, Mr. Shahid Islam, I'm going to come to you. I've been reading your bio. You've been doing some amazing work, not just in Bradford, but around the world. And you are one of UK's leading scientists. You're also a senior research fellow for the Bradford Institute of Research. For the benefit of all our listeners around the world today, can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself, your background, and some flavor of the kind of show you're going to be promoting on Bradford for B TV?
Well, thank you, Tony. Firstly, thank you for such a kind and handsome introduction. I'm not sure I deserve it, but I've been part of Bradford for Better from the outset, right from the beginning. And when we started out, we were thinking a lot about, what are the negative things that are going on and trying to fix those. And that was the purpose of bringing us together. But I think since then we've evolved and thinking there are so many positive things that we need to be sharing about Bradford rather than just fixing those things that we consider problems. And quite a lot of those facts come from the work that we do in our communities, but also some of the research that we do in our communities. So my role as a senior research fellow based in the Bradford Institute for Health Research, it's the same institute in which Born in Bradford sits, which is a fairly famous, internationally famous longitudinal birth cohort study. It originally started out in 2007 with the idea that if we could recruit as many births, actually as many families as possible in 2007, going all the way up to 2011, then there's a good chance that we could look and follow those children through till however long we possibly can. So some of the oldest children will be 18 years of age by the time the City of Culture bid comes about. So that would be quite interesting. The idea being that if we could follow those children for long enough, we could see patterns in health and behaviour and development and outcomes. So we could possibly see why certain children do well and thrive and grow and develop and have good outcomes, and why do, unfortunately, some children end up having completely the opposite outcomes. And if we can work out what the reasons behind those outcomes are or developments are, then we could also possibly influence policy to make things better for those children who have less well outcomes. So our research is not purely academic; it's applied research, as we describe it. The idea behind it is not only to produce papers and publications and bother people with data collection, but to try and find ways to improve things. So my role at the moment as the senior research fellow in Act Early has kept me busy for the last couple of years, particularly with the pandemic, and thinking about how do we have different responses for different communities within the city of Bradford. But mostly I've been busy with thinking about how can we get people involved and interested in everything that we do, from the idea of conception of an idea for research, from the ideas of data collection, analysis, and even dissemination of findings. Because what we want to do is we want to make research and the outcomes that come from research accessible for everyone. It's no good me or my colleagues holding on to really useful, important findings if they're not going to influence the lives of people who are listening here today. So just by way of a couple of examples, if I could, I'll be very brief in terms. If we think about air pollution as one example, there's a clean air zone coming into Bradford very soon. It's imminent now. And the research that we have done, and we've done research in Bradford, but also looked at data from across the world, and found pregnant women who live in areas where there is high levels of air pollution tend to give birth to children who are smaller in weight. And you might ask, well, what's the problem with that? What does birth weight tell us about health? Quite a lot is the answer. So children who have a lower birth weight at birth tend to be the same children who experience health problems later on in life. So if we could fix these sorts of problems in the beginning, we tend to give children the best start in life. So that's the kind of research that we're interested in. The other thing that's worth saying about the same subject is children who are raised and born in areas of high levels of air pollution tend to have a smaller head circumference size, which is an indicator for cognitive development, i.e. lower cognitive development. So that's going to have an impact on children in terms of their schooling, in terms of their outcomes, which then has an impact on their potential to earn the right income to stay safe and well and healthy, which then has an impact on, what kind of housing they live in and other lifestyle factors. So I think the research that I would say I'm involved in is purely about applied research. How do we do things which will make things better for the residents of this city? And that's the starting point for everything that we do. So I'll pause there and I'll wait for other conversations and questions that arise and chip in as they happen.
I mean, talking about making things better for the residents of the city, I've had the opportunity of visiting over 45 of the 51 cities in the UK. What would you say makes Bradford different from all the cities in the UK?
Yeah, that's one question that I often start off a presentation about. So I'm glad you've picked an easy one for me. And one of the things that I end up doing a lot of presentations about is how do we get communities engaged, involved, and interested in those things that make things better in a society. And the thing that makes Bradford stand out, and this happens all the time, is we have this unbounding level of community spirit that is hard to put a finger on and describe and quantify, but it's there in abundance. And when we call upon people to help us with research, or call upon members of our society help us with litter picks, or to call upon children to support us with data collection or anything that we're doing, which has this community spirit label on it. I don't think anybody beats Bradford. So if this was a game of football, we'd be in the top tiers of Champions League when it comes to community spirit. And I think that's what sets Bradford apart. And I also think I looked at some data not that long ago, and I saw, this might have changed, but I saw Bradford was the fourth most generous city in the whole of the United Kingdom. I would have to look for the order in which it appears, but I remember it was Edinburgh, Sheffield, Liverpool, and then Bradford. And the thing that stands out about all of those cities is that they're quite rich and affluent. I would say, in many parts they are. Bradford is considered a poor city as far as socioeconomic development is concerned, yet it seems to fit in the category of one of the most generous cities. And you see that in the people, in the conversations, in the willingness to give their time. And I think that's the beauty of Bradford, which helped us, I suppose, secure the city of culture.
That's amazing. And Mr. Atif Hussain, I'm going to come to you now. An amazing filmmaker, writer, and also doing amazing stuff, not just in Bradford, but also in different corners around the UK. For the benefit of all our listeners around the world today, can you tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and give us a flavor of what to expect on your show on B4B TV?
Thank you, Tony, for that introduction. Yeah, just a brief history. I'm actually an old Bradfordian, so I went to Bradford Grammar School. That's where I first met Sohail back in 1996 when we were just school kids. Sohail was very intellectual, organized, hardworking. I was the complete opposite. I was, like I said, daisical, very unconcerned regarding my work, but we were both big film fans. And that's where our friendship first blossomed. After school, I went to the University of Leeds. I studied drama. Upon graduation, my family background was in the restaurant trade. So I worked for a decade with my dad in our restaurant in Leeds City Centre. Since that time, I've shifted my focus from the bulk of my course was on acting, theatre acting. I moved my focus to writing and film making, basically. So with Sohail, we set up a banner, basically, Trinity Films. We made 3 short films about 5 or 6 years back. And then because I spent so much time with Sohail, he said, you have vast film knowledge as well. So perhaps we should have our own show where we speak to different people regarding their film interests, or if you can call like a top 5 film show. And I think the fact that Bradford has now won this City of Culture bid, Bradford is also officially the city of film in the whole world, ahead of Los Angeles or Mumbai as well in India. So I don't think enough people know about this. There's a rich history as well of film in Bradford as well. Films in the 60s, such as Billy Liar, Railway, Children, even the 80s, Vita Sue and Bob 2. They were filmed in Bradford, and not a lot of people know. Many big shows at the moment, such as Peaky Blinders, The Crown, Downton Abbey, they all shot here. Big films are shot here as well, like Official Secrets and The Duke, which is shot in the Town Hall, which I watched recently. So I think this is a great opportunity to talk about the arts, and specifically, I want to speak about my own background. I'm a 3rd generation British Pakistani now. My paternal grandfather came in 65 to work in the mills. My dad came the year after. I don't know why, but especially in Pakistani society, sometimes the arts is sort of frowned upon or looked down upon, especially the business of acting or drama or music or painting or whatever. So I think this is a great opportunity to promote the arts, especially in Asian society as well. And Bradford being the city of film, there's many great artists as well who live in Bradford. So it'll be an opportunity to speak to them about their influences and their films that they enjoy as well. I myself, unfortunately, don't live now in Bradford, so but I still have a great fondness for the city I'm very proud to be a Bradfordian as well. And hopefully with our hard work, and especially what Sohail's bring as well, like I've said before, he's very organized. He always sees things through. He's a very honorable man, and I think his intentions are very are right, basically. So hopefully this is the beginning of a beautiful journey, hopefully.
Now, Atif, as you know, history, stories, and narratives are very important in painting our lives and also in painting the lives of our generation.
Yes.
Looking at Bradford now,
Yep.
as the very first ever UNESCO film of culture, how important is it right now to emphasize on the history of film in Bradford to the rest of the world?
I think it's paramount, actually, because I don't think it's spoken about enough. It's not on the map enough. When people generally think of films, they tend to think of London, or obviously the United States, New York, or California, India, or Pakistan, with its big film industry, even in Africa as well. I believe it's called Nollywood. They have a great film industry as well. So I think awareness has to be raised about not just the history, like I've mentioned, all the films that have been shot here, not just the artists who are born and bred in this wonderful city, but with this city of culture tag, we can build upon for the future and for possibly for future generations as well. I work in schools, I work with youngsters. So when Sohail and I were growing up, we didn't really have a role model or any mentors who could say, this is also an industry you can enter. Like I said, at home, it was frowned upon. So it could also be a great opportunity for the new generation to see that, there is work available here, whether it's in front of the camera, behind the camera, or in writing or producing or directing as well. I think it's very, very important. And then hopefully that will show in the work. And then hopefully we can, I think Bradford isn't on an international stage, but perhaps it's not quite where it should be. So that is a plan, hopefully in the next 2.5, 3 years, to get Bradford to that place where it can be regarded as a genuine city of film.
And I'm going to come back to you, Dr. Ahmed, because it's a very, very historical day. Thursday, the 9th of June, here in the city of Bradford, City of Culture, and also the launch of the new Bradford TV station. What are the short-term objectives and the long-term vision of B4B TV?
Well, the short term essentially is, as I said, to have a platform where we can share the good work that people are doing in Bradford. And as we say, the name itself says it, Bradford for Better. So whoever or whichever organization, whether it's the health sector, research, arts, culture, community, voluntary sector, faith sector, all of these, they're doing something in their own way to try and make Bradford better. And I think we as an organization encompass all of this. And the hope is that this platform, B4B TV, becomes an umbrella for all of these organizations and the work that goes on, and be able to support as a platform for the work that goes on in Bradford. So that's in the short term, really, to become that sort of beacon to shine the light for all these organizations and individuals. Long term, we don't really know where it can go. I mean, like I say, it's City of Culture 2025. We're kind of, the journey is just starting. So we really don't know. I mean, I don't know whether anything like this exists anywhere else on a citywide scale, and encompasses so much diversity and so much in its own vision and the goals that we have set for ourselves. But we don't know how big it could get. And we don't, we're going to see how it goes, really. We've had a lot of interest and from organizations and individuals to kind of get involved and support us on this platform. But to us, I think this is the tool of the day, the medium of the day. I think every age has a tool that they use. In years gone by, it would have been the newsprint, it would have been the newspapers. Before that, it was word of mouth and storytelling and poetry in small communities. This is the age of the podcast. This is the age of social media, and we're using the tools that are the tools of the age. So we hope we can utilize them to their effect and make positive change. Really, that's the idea. That's the hope.
Okay, so we're just about to wrap off now. And as you all know, the media is a very, very powerful tool in promoting the true life stories of amazing people around the world, and also in celebrating our history, our culture, and our values. I'm going to come to you, back to you now, Mr. Islam, on a very, very final note. What message do you have to all Bradfordians around the world today?
My message would be a very simple one. I think we need to be very proud of this city. For a very long time, this city has been living in the shadows of other cities around it. And I won't even name those cities, but we now have a platform to springboard and say, look, we're proud to be Bradfordians. You know, this idea of people hiding where they're from. You often hear it. You hear people say, I live in Navwood, which is near Keighley, which is near Leeds. There, I've said it, the cardinal sin. I don't think we need to do any of that. We have a city which has a proud heritage, proud culture, a diverse sets of community. Everybody is able to contribute. And I think with the amazing funding and the gravitas and the kind of kudos that comes with the City of Culture. For example, there's reports suggesting that there might be £700 million being invested here over the course of the City of Culture term, and there's possibly likely to be 7,000 new jobs. I think these are all opportunities that we need to grasp and make this a proud place for current generations, existing and previous generations, but also the new generation. So be proud of this city. We're going to really rock, I'd say.
Okay, Mr. Islam said we're really going to rock the city and rock the world. Mr. Hussain, coming back to you now. What message do you have for all Bradfordians around the world today?
I think it's just to reiterate what Mr. Islam has just said. I think he's said it really, really well. I can't really add to that. He is right. There's a certain stigma attached to Bradford as well. Sometimes people are embarrassed to mention the city's name, and that's due to various reasons. But I think with this bid that we've won, it's a great opportunity to show the whole city in a different light. To show how diverse it is, to show that there is stuff happening here, and we can be just as good, if not better, than other cities as well, especially places which were compared to like Leeds or Manchester as well. So I think it's a very hopeful time, and obviously onwards and upwards. Fingers crossed.
And finally, coming to you, back to you, Dr. Ahmed, the chair of Bradford for Better. One of my favorite mottos in life is be the change you want to see in society. How important and how crucial is it at this moment in life for us to be the change we want to see in society?
Absolutely crucial, Tony. Can I just add with this platform B4B TV, the whole idea is this we don't want this to be something that's passive, that people kind of just absorb, like watching something on Netflix or something on TV. The idea behind it is that this is going to be a platform for information. You know, like Shahid here has already given some examples of such research that Born in Bradford are doing. So there's going to be information, but it's going to be entertainment. But with that, there will be a sense of inspiration coming from it as well. The people that you see and the work that's been going on. But the final piece in that is empowering. I think it's very, very important. And I think that's where this platform, I hope, can stand out, where it becomes a platform to empower people, to feel proud of the city, and to actually be able to see stuff that goes on in the city that they wouldn't have otherwise known. But then with that pride comes an empowerment to say, okay, if other people are doing it, how can we get involved? And they feel empowered to become that change and be involved. So this is an active platform. This is an active brand, a show, that this is not just, we're just going to be observers like watching something on BBC. We want to be part of this. So we invite people to join Bradford for Better, join the shows, come on as guests and talk about what you're doing and what you're trying to do. And we want to empower people and be proud of this city and be part of the change and not just be spectators. So it really is, our hope and ambition to be able to provide that platform for people to make that change.
And on a very final note, I'd like to say thank you to all of you and congratulations on the birth of a new product. For all our listeners listening today, visit www.bradfordforbetter.com. My name is Tony Tukumbo Fernandez, published writer and poet, international broadcaster, and online blogger as well. Watch this space for many more stories to come your way, and God bless you.
You've been watching B4B TV. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And join us next time for another episode.